We can't even help 20% of the registered orphans.
And it's not just orphans. With most of the country's institutions in shambles, Iraqis have few places to turn. Hana has stacks of files for people who need help.
I don't have a home or shelter for me and my children.
The aid is not sufficient enough to meet the needs and requirements of the widows and the orphans in Iraq.
I wish I can build a home for me and my family.
I wish I could buy toys without having to pay for them.
Why don't you want to pay money?
Because I don't have any money.
The number of widows and orphans comprises a large segment of the Iraqi society, while the efforts being exerted by the civic society organizations are far below the satisfactory level. It's like giving a piece of candy to someone who is dying.
What did Iraq have to do with what?
The attack on the World Trade Center.
Nothing, except for it's part of, and nobody's ever suggested in this administration that Saddam Hussein ordered the attack. Iraq was the lesson of September 11th is take threats before they fully materialize, Ken. Nobody's ever suggested that the attacks of September the 11th were ordered by Iraq. I have suggested, however, that resentment and the lack of hope create the breeding grounds for terrorists who are willing to use suiciders to kill to achieve an objective. I have made that case. And one way to defeat that, defeat resentment, is with hope.
Her name is Grana. It means precious in Pashto. Her leg and arm were ripped off by a bomb blast that destroyed her village near the Helmand town of Kayaki, southern Afghanistan. Grana is just 12 years old. She's lucky to be alive. Grana and her family were victims of coalition bombing. Because all of her family died in the attack, she's now being cared for by her uncle Ahmed. Ahmed is a trader from Kandahar who came to live in Kabul to care for his niece. It's been 4 months since she suffered her horrific injuries. Victims of war get little or no support in Afghanistan after they are released from hospital. There's no systematic compensation for victims. Some families get money from the coalition forces, often just a few thousands of dollars, which won't last long.
دا چون دا دغه د لکړه د دا د لپاره جوړ کړی چې دلته د لاس نه لري چې دا لاس ورواچي نو دغه د لپاره د لاس نسی اچولې تر هغه پورې چې د لکړه ګرځي نو لکړه چې نو بیا دوی کولای چې لاس ورواچي.
The prosthetics are uncomfortable. They hurt her leg and arm. Walking is painful for her, and simple tasks like going to the bathroom are difficult. Her story is one of many thousands.
The horrors of war extend to the unborn. Parents of children in Fallujah believe chemical weapons caused an upturn in birth defects. Now, Mohammed Jamjoon shows us the daily struggle facing these kids and their families.
Akram is just a day old. He was born with a cleft lip and cleft palate and is one of many children at Fallujah's General Hospital suffering from severe birth defects.
This is Mohammed Hamid. He's 1 month old.
Mohammed has cardiac problems, the most common defect among the children here. Down the corridor we meet Sufyan. He is just 2 years old but has already had 7 operations to alleviate the swelling around his brain. Doctors tell his mother still more will be needed. Overwhelmed by medical bills, she says she has to borrow cash just to get to the hospital. At the Fallujah branch of the Iraqi Handicapped Society, parents seek help for their disabled children. Since 2004, Hussein Matroud says he has seen a sharp rise in the number of deformities. The number increased after the military operations that took place in Fallujah in the first and second state of the operations, says Hussein. They used all kinds of weapons, even the forbidden ones. At the hospital, Dr. Abdul Ghani says the international community has to help. In the face of so much suffering, she is on the verge of despair.
I feel shame when I answer my patients. Sometimes I feel I want to cry because I can't do anything for them.
Mohammed Jamjoom, CNN, Baghdad.
Well, the U.S. Defense Department tells CNN it takes public health issues very, very seriously and is aware of the reports of a rise in birth defects in Fallujah.